Hi, this is Graphically Alex coming at you with all things fat related. If that's something that interests you, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. And I am still struggling with this mic a little bit. I am paranoid every time I use it. But here we are, ready to fight. Because this ad triggered the zombie horde. And we have to talk about why. I'm going to react to the ad just itself, and then we're going to get into a little bit of lore. For those of you guys that know about The Last of Us, I'm going to make some references later in this video if you'll stick around. But we're going to talk about why this ad was actually super triggering to the E followed by the letter D community world zombie horde. That's what we're calling it. I call it the toxic ritualistic for the sake of YouTube, but the TR for short, the TR zombie horde. Let's talk about it because this was very triggering to the FATOSPHERE.
My sister's name was Denise. She died of obesity at 25.
I'm going to just play the whole thing and then we'll break it down piece by piece. Even though I know a lot of you guys have already seen it, I don't care.
She had a heart attack. I was so fat and nasty. I would eat anything. I was like 345 pounds. A quart of ice cream every hour. I had so much self-hate when I was like that. I just wanted to kill myself. We're the most powerful country in the world, and we have the most obese, fudgy people. Something has to be done about processed food in this country.
Okay. These are all really gay. I just had to say that. Okay. The three gayest straight people ever. No, I'm just kidding. I just had to say that. Anyway, I'm just kidding. So let's go ahead and break it down piece by piece. I think what I will say overall is you have to remember it goes back to control. It goes back to control. So what is the aspect of this? Try to put yourself in the mind of a zombie. What is the aspect of this that is being critiqued or criticized or whatever? It is food choices. Food choices, it touches on that control. So ultimately, that is why this ad is so horrible. Now, there is a lot of political buzz around this ad for a lot of reasons that I'm not going to get into because that's just kind of like a duh. This is a This is a political statement. So I think a lot of people that responded to this were like, what? Why are they doing this on the Super Bowl? It is a political moment. There's a lot of people that politicize the Super Bowl. This Super Bowl was so ridiculously politicized on so many different levels that, I don't know, this ad is just a drop in the bucket in terms of politicization of the Super Bowl. So I don't know why, other than the TR zombie horde, I don't know why certain people are acting like it's a big deal. But yes, it is a political statement. It's not made to make money. It's not selling a product. It is made to make a message. It is an activistic message. That's pretty much it. So yeah, it's going to piss some people off. It's to start a conversation. It's a form of protest or whatever. Even if it's from the government, that is what it is. Okay? So let's all be adults and talk about how the zombies were affected. So I'm going to go ahead and start it over.
My sister's name was Denise. She died of obesity at 25. She had a heart attack.
So that in and of itself, the reality of what the TR does, the reality of what you're doing. If somebody is dealing with this issue, if they are binging on a regular basis, if they are significantly overweight, if they are struggling, that is very, very, very triggering already because it forces you to consider your health. It forces you to consider what you're doing. You never want that. Why? Because you'll have to stop if you do it too much. So remember that most visceral zombie responses to this type of thing, it comes from trying to preserve the disorder. So if you are made aware of the fact that you can die at a young age, 25 years old, from this type of behavior, people hate that. They can't stand it. So that is going to, in terms of the Last of Us metaphor, it is going to step on the fungus immediately, out the gate. And I do think that Mike Tyson has, I'm getting some TR vibes from him, or like he has at least struggled with it to a certain extent, which is why he's hitting on these very deep things. And we're going to continue. Okay.
I was so fat and nasty. I would eat anything. I was like 345 pounds, a quarter.
So when he says that he was fat and nasty, that is very triggering to the TR as well. So that's like a 1-2 punch in a very fast succession. So people that are within the problem, the zombies, they are constantly looking at the mirror. They are constantly thinking about how they look all the time. So when he says, I was nasty, they're going to internalize that as themselves. And what you have to understand about the TR zombie horde is they don't differentiate between one person versus another. So I used to call it the fat herd. It is very much like if you say something about one fat person, you're saying something about all fat people. And the mechanism of that is that if somebody says something about their experience being fat, then somebody in the TR can use that to remind themselves how they feel. And then they will use that feeling of shame or guilt or whatever to then engage in the behavior. So you use it to fuel a cycle. So then it becomes, oh my gosh, Mike Tyson hated himself. That means he hates me. That means I hate me. That means I have to go eat. Okay? I shit you not. That's basically how it goes. So that's the TR side of it. However, this ad is targeted towards the general population, which the general population does not give a fuck about obesity. They do not care about it at all. They don't ever think about it. So you have to be at least a little bit alarmist. And the majority of people are the general population. So while this is definitely triggering the TR zombies, the public needs to hear it, which that's also going to upset the zombies because it will affect their goal of getting everybody to be as fat as possible. So I told you that in my last video, the reason why is so that those on the reductive side of the TR, E followed by the letter D, can feel more competitive against a general fat population. And those within BINGE, oh, that's also true of Mia, those within BINGE, they can compare themselves to other people, and it's a less stark comparison. So if most people in America are mid-size or basically overweight, then they don't feel as stark of a contrast of their being huge compared to if everybody was skinty. Then they'd be like, oh my gosh, like there'd be a lot of contrast there. It would be a little too much. Whereas within the BINGE side, people use mid-sized people to either comfort or trigger themselves depending on the moment, depending on whatever their cycles need. So they'll look at a mid-sized person and be like, I feel better because I can dress better than you or whatever. Or they'll look at a mid-sized person and be like, I feel worse. You have more proximity to thinness than I do. And so then they'll use it either way, maybe even the same person on a given moment to justify their behavior again. So it just kind of goes back and forth. There's so much comparison in BINGE, but people within the TR, they can do so much more with a general overweight population than a healthy population. So this ad will also piss them off for that reason, even on a subconscious level.
ice cream every hour. I had so much self-hate.
So I saw a lot of people get upset that he said he had a pint of ice cream every hour. And they're like, you did not, da 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 da. He probably did. There was probably at least a phase where he was doing that. Like, I'm getting the vibes that he definitely was binging. Definitely. Especially when he's saying, I hated myself. That's very TR. Especially when he's saying, like, you know, I was nasty, right? That's very much within that scope.
When I was like that, I just wanted to kill myself.
So when he says that too, you have to understand EFA by the letter D is it has a lot to do with self-destruction. And again, people think of it as a addiction, but it's not. It's about control. The reason I don't like, there's so many reasons I don't like that narrative, but for one, it makes it about pleasure, which it's not. When he's eating that ice cream every hour, it's not for pleasure. It's not, which can sound weird, but a lot of people don't understand that there's a difference between overeating and binging. And overeating, in my opinion, is laziness. It's like a form of laziness or just not caring. It's like a I don't care attitude, which it's more light versus like binge is like very heavy. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't stand this, or oh my gosh, I don't know. You know, one of my favorite examples is like, I don't know if I can make rent, so I'm going to just binge instead, which makes no sense because you end up spending more money. But it just shows how like nonsensical that is, how it is disordered. It's not like you're not thinking clearly when you're doing that. But that's what's going on. Like there's a difference. There's a trigger with the binge, and self-hatred is a trigger. People that just overeat passively, they're not hating themselves, and that's why they're eating. Okay? That's just people being lazy. Like there's such a thing as being overindulgent and lazy, which people can't stand the L word when it comes to fat people, but it's true for a lot of fat people, especially class 1 obese. A lot of people that are just class 1 obese, they're kind of lazy. They're just kind of like floppy, or they just don't give a fuck. They just don't care. So if you don't care and you're just eating a bunch of processed foods, then you can very easily become passively obese, which is what this ad is criticizing, which is very correct. And even class 1 obesity, it does affect your health quite significantly.
We're the most powerful country in the world, and we have the most obese, fudgy people. Something has to be done about processed food in this country.
Just, oh my gosh. That was like more of a political statement, which is fine. You do you, you know. Then he says, we have the most fudgy people, blah, 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 which, I mean, there is a reputation. I'm going to put it to you that way. There is definitely a reputation of fatness in America. I will say though, like it is spreading like wildfire. The zombie takeover is going far and wide. So I don't know. I mean, maybe there is an opportunity years down the line for America to shave that reputation off, but it's not going to happen anytime soon, as we are currently in full-blown The Last of Us. Like, this is not working out right now. It's a total flop. So we need to do drastically better, because I literally call it The Last of Us actually losing the weight, because there's barely anybody. Barely anybody. Reminder, Angelica is a part of the 1% of people 18 to 30 that became not obese from 2022 to 2026. She's a part of the 1%. 1%. Not good enough for me. That's why we're going into active war against FA, the TR, all of it, because they are taking control of these narratives. We're not allowing it to happen anymore. At least from what I can do about it, no. And I'm trying to mobilize y'all to fight it too, because no, this is not good enough. Okay. So I will say that all of that is great. As far as the message, I like the message about the food and like eat real food, blah, blah, blah. And then he's eating an apple and stuff. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with, I think he had like a carrot, he had an apple. Happy with it. Great. I think it's a great message. I think it's good. I think it's a good thing for the government to be encouraging people to eat real food. I'm just going to say that. I don't see how that's a bad thing, because even if it's just like somebody makes one little bit of a choice one day, that's still better. Even within like when people are doing diet culture and they're having like tons of diet sodas and stuff, if they have an apple throughout the day and they're not just eating a bunch of protein bars instead, that's a good thing. You know, if you're starting to have real food. But certainly it's better than having fast food or, you know, very high calorie processed foods that are very, very inflammatory and that kind of thing. You know, like I used to talk about the Takis, for example. Like that was one of my main things. When I was in the TR, yeah, it was just bad. But I'm just thinking about it. I'm like, oh my God. Because I used to eat so many of them that I literally, my mouth would be burning. It was actually Doritos Dynamite because they were gluten-free. Fun fact. But no, I used to eat so many of them that my mouth would literally be burning so bad. And it's like I was fine with it. Like I didn't care. Or like it just added to the experience, which is crazy to say out loud, but your brain is like you're on like, I was a zombie. I was a clicker. For those of you guys that know The Last of Us, I was a clicker. I was reactive. I had no brain left. I was blind. I had like virtually no empathy. We love that. But I'm recovered. I'm Ellie now. So I'm immune. So I want to talk about some of Robin's video. So we're going to go to that next. So 1 second. Okay. So I love that Robin did this. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. I'm just going to be in Robin's way though. But I want to talk about this because for my peeps that know The Last of Us, I need you to understand the severity of this situation. Okay? I am Ellie. This guy is Abby. This is Abby. And Robin is Dina. Robin's my lesbian lover that's doing intel on my enemy. Okay, this is like, for those of you guys that don't know The Last of Us, there's like a huge like op vibe or like enemies vibe between the main girl Ellie and this other girl named Abby. And basically they're both human, obviously. So it's like neither one of us are in the TR zombie horde, but we're also still vehemently enemies. Basically, like we disagree on like everything, basically, or almost everything. And I will let Robin explain her. No, I'm just kidding. I will let Robin explain Abby. And I will react as I go through. I have watched him quite a bit. I watched him a lot when I was in Vanity Weight 2.0 era. And 1.0, oh my gosh. And he drove me nuts. He absolutely drove me insane. But let's go ahead and watch it.
Okay, so this guy, his name is Jacob Foods. Let's see if I can open link in a new tab. Okay, Jacob Foods. He's got 170,000 followers. I had some words about him yesterday with Alex. He has 170,000 followers. He's a dietitian. And his main thing, he says in here, he's a former primal bro who got educated. And I'm assuming, I went all the way down to the first post and I didn't see him like really be a primal boy. But his main thing is he's very plant-based. So a lot of his protein is soy-based. But he had some words to say about this commercial. I have some words to say about him. So he offers a coaching session, and you can get a coaching session for 90 minutes.
So I just have to say this. I never looked this deep, Robin, ever. I never looked this deep. I so appreciated that you did this. But basically, why are we talking about him? We're talking about him because he is, in my opinion, still an aspect that is a barrier within the anti-FA war. Okay? He represents what I am calling the Fat Liberation Front, which is basically, it is a play on the Western, I think it's the Western Liberation Front in The Last of Us 2. So he is a part of the Fat Liberation Front, which is basically a group of people that rebel and try to, I don't know, I need to get more into the lore, but basically they're a group that is trying to make things better, but they're not. They're a flop, in my opinion. And so basically what it represents in terms of anti-fat acceptance is people who are ultimately in it for the dollar. People who cater to the zombie horde in a way or actually undermine messaging. So he, for example, you will see as Robin shows, he will literally try to undermine the message of eating real food for the sake of the dollar, which is horrible. So she's going to explain how much of a grifter he is.
Oh, wait. It says 60-minute consult, but then it says 1 hour and 30 minutes right here. I don't understand that. But anyway, I tried to figure out how much the cost was, and it just keeps saying on here. And this is why I hate people like this. Upfront with your cost, okay? Anyway, he says, please do not book a call if you're under 18. One-on-one coaching is not free. One-on-one coaching is not free. Please book a call only if you are ready to invest in your health financially. And then I tried to book a call. You have to enter all these details with your exact Instagram name. What are the main things you want to change? How old are you? What is your biggest barriers achieving your goals? And then it says, just to be respectful, are you making financial decision here? Or is there someone in your support system, partner, parent, who should be involved? If so, let's schedule a time when they can join us so everything is clear. Still very not upfront about how much it costs. And then I come down here, working together one-on-one isn't cheap. This is because it's deeply customized and built for results. It says, are you currently able to invest meaningfully in this level of support? I'm ready, but it would have to be low cost, under $200. Whoever's paying this motherfucker, like, oh my God, I feel like you're being totally bamboozled. But I mean, are you? Am I just that independent? I don't know. I've never felt, I feel I have a hard time letting people run the show. So I think having a coach would be very difficult for me because I feel like I can look this shit up myself. I'm very much, even with our house, when we were doing like home renovations, we were like, we'll just look it up on YouTube. I'm not going to hire a fucking contractor. Anyway, let's get back to Maha. I don't like him, so let's hear what he says.
That ad has got to be one of the worst things I've seen come out of MAHA. Do you think people who are struggling with being...
That's the worst thing to come out of MAHA? I feel like they've said some fucking really weird shit.
COVID-19 is targeted to attack Caucasians and Black people. The people who are most immune are Ashkenazi Jews and Chinese.
Being overweight or obese.
I know. Well, but do you see how fake he is? Do you see? Like, it's so performative. It's very performative. It's very exaggerating. It's very like the worst thing. Oh my gosh. And he's going to act like, I think he's going to say because he said that he hated himself or whatever. And it's like people don't understand. There are two different populations of people that like basically that the population of people that is having this strong reaction to this ad is not the majority. The majority of people, they need a kick in the ass when it comes to this stuff. And that's what it's going to be catered to. If you choose to stay in the TR, which I will say it is a choice till the cows come home, then you are at risk of being triggered by real life, by other people every day. It's going to happen. So you're going to hear somebody say that they're on a downsizing journey. You're going to hear somebody talk about how they feel fat today. You're going to have to deal with that shit. You're going to have to deal with Mike Tyson's ad at the Super Bowl party. That's your problem. Your choice to stay in the issue. If you're getting triggered, you made yourself triggered by it. You obsess over and over and over again. I don't feel bad for you. I don't. You're choosing to be obsessed with that. And nobody else can make you stop. So that's a risk that you take. When you stay in the TR, you take the risk of being triggered on a daily basis. So I don't feel bad for any zombies. I don't. But let's go ahead and hear what the Fat Liberation Front has to say.
Came out of that ad feeling empowered, feeling like there was hope for them and they were going to get help? Or do you think they feel worse because Mike Tyson said that when he was like them, he wanted to kill himself?
I feel like a lot of people who, so I'm wondering if this guy has ever been fat, but I feel like
He wasn't fat. I know some things. But he said that he's like a primal bro that shifted. So I think he might be, I don't know enough about the reductive side to make a definitive statement, but I will say like he's at least got some proximity to it. Maybe it was subclinical or it wasn't quite there, right? But he was a little bit there. He was very obsessive about like the type of food he ate and blah, blah, blah. And I think he was carnivore or something. I don't know. I don't know the whole tea, I guess, but one of his things is he didn't have seed oils. So now he's like super pro seed oil. That's like all he talks about. He literally has t-shirts where he's like talking about seed oils. Like it's ridiculous. It's kind of ridiculous. But like I said, that Fat Liberation Front aspect, it's like you tend to push for like corporate narratives, like almost mistakenly, but it still happens. And I think it's because it's what Robin said. There's just a lot of profit, which she kind of gets into it a bit more. But this is an aspect that, like I said, it is a barrier to actually solving the problem. Because I don't think that massive amounts of seed oil consumption is great for people who are already fat and who clearly had too many already. Hot take. Now, I understand some areas of nuance where it's like if there's a drop of it in something, it's not a big deal. I totally get that. If you're already healthy, you might be able to take a punch, but understand it's a punch. It's not good for you. But again, so is alcohol, right? So if you can have something reasonably or responsibly, I'm not going to sit here and judge you. But if you're having like a bag of chips every day, you're going to have a problem. You are going to have a problem. If you're having a big 800-calorie bag of chips a day, you're going to have issues with those oils. The dose is in the poison. I will say that forever. So while I understand his kind of like hypervigilance when he was so extra about it, again, I had In-N-Out when I went to Cali in the summer. It has seed oils in it. I didn't die, you know? But is it a part of my daily lifestyle? Absolutely not. No. Avoiding it is a part of my thyroid journey. It's a part of maintaining thyroid health. I'm not doing it. Like I said, you're never going to see me get freaking fries at a fast food restaurant. It's trash. It's trash. I don't care what anybody says. It is trash. It is absolute trash food. I'm not having it.
A lot of people who watch that were like, I felt like that too. Because I remember when I was obese, I was very, very much not happy with my life. And I very much felt disgusting. I'm not saying that those are good feelings to have, but I mean, they're real, you know? I think
too, like Mike Tyson is more of a masculine person, obviously. So he's going to just say things very directly and very bluntly. And I think a lot of women within the TR or a lot of women within FA, which again, there's a lot of like, and maybe even him too. So it's not just women. It's also him, you know. um, I'm just laughing because he always talks about how he's such a soy boy and all this stuff. And I don't know, maybe he's uncomfortable. Sometimes guys, they want to be the only masculine one in the room, or, you know, they're very hostile towards masculinity still. It's not just a women's issue. Like a lot of guys are that way too. But it's just a very direct form of communication. He's just very blatantly stating something. Like if I were to be truthful too, I would agree with Robin. I had moments like that where you know, I don't know if it was just completely size related or if it was just like complete hormonal dysregulation, other mental health issues, like all that kind of stuff. But I felt that way before, you know, I certainly felt that way within the TR. And even like extreme hypothyroidism, it makes you extremely depressed. So, which again, I had to downsize in order to fix my thyroid. I would not have been able to fix it if I stayed obese. It's not possible. So we have to be real about this stuff. So if he says it super blatantly like that, that's just his style. He has a more masculine style. I get that. There's a lot of fat dudes, you know? There's a lot of fat people. And sometimes people need somebody to just say it that way, and that's fine. I can continue my feminine presentation on my channel, and I can continue the way that I do my messaging. If you don't like that messaging, that's okay. If you don't like his messaging, that's okay. But people need to hear different kinds of voices. So to me, I can handle it. Like I'm fine. You know, it didn't bother me that he said that, but I understand why people don't like it. But it's also like, as far as general population, I think it's a positive thing. So I can kind of juggle multiple things in my brain at once. So I understand a lot of the nuances of it.
It's okay for people to express their own experiences and feelings. I mean, was it appropriate to do this on the Super Bowl? I don't know. But sometimes I feel like America does need a little kick in the ass, and maybe our citizens do need to. I mean, these are the most watched commercials of the year. Maybe we do need a little bit of like, oh shit, let's rethink.
And he actually knew people who died because he was like them when he was obese and fudgy. Do you think they feel like there's a solution, or does it?
Doesn't he feel like such a like he's pandering to like?
I swore that she was gonna say pansy. I swore when I first watched this video, but she didn't. She didn't. She didn't. That was just me. That was me.
I feel like he just panders to like fat people just to get more views. And I was talking to Alex about this. I was like, here's what I think people do. People like this, there are other creators. I should do another video on this, but people like this who are thin and then they pander to like fat people. The reason why they do that is, think about it. The largest population we're going to talk about the United States. God, I look like a fucking clown.
Yeah, she's in her Joker era. It was giving Joker to me. I'm still confused at the makeup. I don't know what was going on. She like explained it in the video, but I didn't get it. So, oops. I swear I cannot do this right now. We're going to stick to this button here.
The largest population is obese or overweight. 75% of Americans are either obese or overweight. So if you
especially class 1 obese, huge amount of people are class 1, which is what this type of ad would help. It would help the passively obese person, the person that is just eating crap food that is making them passively obese, which that's going to be the greatest number of people. It's an effective message for those types.
To people who are overweight on Instagram, you are going to have so many views because most of the people on Instagram are like age 25 to 45, right? I believe. I mean, are there kids? I don't know. Most of the people on Instagram are adults. and are fat because adults are fat in America. You pander to that group of people, you were going to get so many like views. And then he does a lot of rage baity stuff, like a lot of soy boy, like calling himself a soy boy. Just a lot of rage baity stuff to get like the carnivore bros pissed at him and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So like you already have a huge following of the fat people that you're pandering to, and then you rage bait for the rest of the 25%, you're going to get a huge amount of views. So I think that's why he has a huge following. It's just that he panders to fat people. And then on top of that, he's pandering these fat people so that they buy his coaching and maybe they lose
You go, Dina. You spill the tea.
weight. I don't know. I mean, all these people, all these fucking grifters, all they do is they just post positive reviews, and you can't really, they're not listed on Google for you to be like, are they really legit? And you have so much control of your comment section on Instagram that
Which
you,
I've had an experience with a person on Instagram, and they will just delete your comments to make themselves look better. It's fake as hell.
can block out anybody or delete comments. You can block out anybody reviewing you negatively. So I just don't trust people like him because some of the shit that he's going to say is misinformation.
Feel like they just said, we need to do something about processed foods, rather than saying what they're actually going to do about it to help.
Okay, I actually do agree with that. I want to.
But they tell you to go to the site, which Robin does cover. But I have to be quicker. So I'm ready. I'm ready, Abby. I'm ready. I'm going to get my ass to Seattle. No, I'm just kidding.
I know, but maybe that's what they want you to do is to go to the website, and we may be able to go to the website. I want to know what's the next step. Are we going to start like making certain ingredients illegal? Are we going to stop allowing these processed foods to be given to kids at school? Are they going to start limiting how much aisle space?
So I think they are going to actually shift the school lunches. I need to see if that's actually happening, but I saw it on Instagram. I don't know if it's real, but they might actually be doing that. So that's something. I mean, this issue is complicated because, like, while the government should encourage healthy habits, it's not 100% the government's responsibility, nor can the government completely solve it, which a lot of people don't want to hear that. But I will always tell you that 20,000 times a day because it's really important that you understand. Like, people don't weigh 500 pounds because it's easier to weigh 500 pounds. It's not. People have a dedicated devotion to it. You have to think of it that way. That's more helpful because it's actually really expensive. It's really difficult. It's not fun. You're constantly miserable. You're constantly in pain. But you know, it's a lot. So I'm just saying it is a psychological issue, but we have a lot of stuff to work through. We just do, especially with Nita, the Fedra of the situation. Nita being compromised, in my opinion, which maybe it was compromised a long time ago. We'll have to get further into the lore of that. But that's causing censorship on YouTube. So it's tough. It's a tough landscape. This issue is very, very deeply entrenched. It seems like it's even more deeply entrenched after Fat Acceptance TikTok. It seems like it was successful. If you really want to think about it, people say Fat Acceptance TikTok failed, but it didn't. It won. That's why they're not even on there anymore, because they don't need to be, because you have institutions like Nita doing the work for them. And you have people like the Fat Liberation Front over here. Oh, I'm doing it wrong. Fat Liberation Front doing their work for them. Why is he demonizing an ad telling people to eat healthy? It's stupid. He's a nutritionist. Shouldn't he be like, yes, eat real food, yes. But he's like, he's in it for the money. The almighty dollar.
Specific, processed foods can have in Walmart or whatever. Because I go to my Walmart and literally, so like if you look at an aisle, each like 5-foot section, if you look at an aisle at Walmart, you know how they each have like a 5-foot section? The Oreo section at my fucking Walmart with all the weird fucking Oreos that they have, it's like 5 of those 5-foot sections, 25 feet of Oreos. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but it is. I think it may even be four, so 20 feet of fucking Oreos. What the hell is going on, Oreo? Nabisco? Oreos. If you're really Milk's favorite cookie, why are you changing yourself so much? You were already perfect the way you were.
You know
and
what's
you don't
crazy
need
too?
4.
It's like Oreos used to be one of my favorites. When I was real deep in the TR, it was one of my favorites. So that is kind of weird, but I literally haven't had Oreos in forever. So I don't know.
Fucking 5-foot sections at Walmart. Okay. I want to see some changes.
I think that's fair. I think that's very fair. I think it's a start if the government's going to try. But again, there has to be actual solutions. But I think that would be difficult to do, as it's not, I don't know how politically viable that would be at this time. It's hard because you have to think of like parties, preferences, like the Republican Party has at least a reputation of, we don't regulate corporations or we don't regulate businesses, right? So I do think that it's shifting, but is that going to be a priority of the administration? Is it not, right? I doubt it. I honestly doubt it. I'm just going to say it. I think it probably won't happen because there's a lot of other stuff going on, and there's already a lot of criticism over something like tariffs, which is like, it's a regulation, and people are very, very iffy on that in the United States, apparently. People don't want corporations to be regulated in the United States. So will that happen politically? I don't know. It's not popular. I'm going to be honest. Those of you guys outside of the US, you're probably like, what? But it's true. Like RFK talked about getting companies to not use certain dyes, and people are pissed about it. I don't get it, but it's I think it could be a TR zombie thing, because it could just be like control or whatever. People are scared of that. Or because I don't understand that. I just don't. I might be too far removed to understand like outrage over dyes shifting to a different dye. I just don't get it. But there are a lot of people who are really upset about it, and don't you tell me what I can have and whatever. So that spirit is still very much in the United States. And so if we talk about it politically, do I think it will happen? No, I don't. There would have to be some kind of protest, some kind of mass action, which is not going to happen in the United States. It's just not, because nobody gives a fuck about obesity. Unfortunately, they don't. So it's not going to happen. All you'll hear is, there's so many other important issues. There's so many other important things. There's so many other things going on, which there are a lot of things going on. I get it. But as I've talked about on this channel, this issue is just getting worse and worse and worse in the background. And the zombies have taken over. And it's like, hello, hello. I'm immune. I survived. Like, I'm here, It's frustrating. But I do agree with Robin. I do think that those could be some regulations or some kind of political action that might at least make a dent. I think they are doing the school lunch thing. That's good.
Yes. But I think that the commercial did a good job at making you go, let's see what this eatrealfoods.org is about. We'll go into it in a second.
I just really don't get what their intention was with that ad. I don't know.
The intention was, America is fat and we need to make some changes. And the intention was to insinuate that these processed foods are making us fat. America is addicted to processed food because processed foods were created to be addictive. They have fucking scientists in lab coats at a fucking Lay's factory trying to make the food as addictive as possible so that Americans buy more and kids ask their parents for more.
So I think the ad was definitely going with like a smoking ad vibe, which I don't necessarily disagree with, to be honest. As far as the addictive thing, I don't agree with that, but that's okay. Again, I don't have to agree with everybody on everything. But I do believe it's hyper palatable. I do believe it's something very easy to overeat if you're not thinking about it at all, which a lot of people don't. They just don't care. So again, in my opinion, it would be the most passive addiction ever. The most I just don't give a fuck type of thing, which I don't think that is how addiction is, but people define it differently. And some people use that word for literally everything. But I would just say the foods are hyper palatable. They can kind of, it's like just have it sneak it in, get people to just eat tons of it so that we make more money. That's basically what it is. That's how I view it. So it's like you eat a Dorito. A Dorito is not filling at all. Zero filling, zero satiety for most people. I will tell you flat out, it has to do with the seed oils in it. They're not filling. It has to do with they have all this weird stuff in the ingredients, blah, blah, blah. It's like monosodium glutamate. There's like, I think anyways, maybe I'm wrong. But there's a lot of these different stuff that they put in it so that it tastes a certain way. But again, I have a lot of foreign friends and they've tried some American stuff and it's like they're always horrified at how it tastes. So I don't even think it tastes that great. I really don't. I don't. One of my friends, he tried Reese's and he was like, oh, he's like, it's so salty. Ugh. And I was like, it is really salty. It is. I remember. I haven't had it in a long time. But I love salt. So. But I don't know. It's like have salty dark chocolate, you know? I don't even think peanut butter is bad necessarily. It's not the best, in my opinion, for downsizing. And for hypo, it's not the best because the fat profile just isn't the best. But I think for most people, it's fine, you know? But it's like there's a lot of crap in it. There's a lot of crap in that food. So it's like, I think if people are addicted to anything, it's the convenience. People are just lazy. People are lazy as fuck. I will say it. People are lazy and undisciplined. That's all it is. It's like, put some effort, make something yourself. People don't want to do that. It's too much. And they'll say, I'm overworked, I'm this, I'm that. Yes, but if you buy that shit, it costs so much more. It's like there's a reason you're overworked because you're spending all your money on that stupid shit. Like when you spend money on shitty food, you are wasting your work. You're wasting your effort. You're not respecting yourself. I will say it flat out because you don't care. And people do not give a fuck. I know I'm cussing a lot, but they don't care. That's the problem. It's a lack of care.
And when I say processed foods, you guys, I better not see a fucking comment saying,
oh, well, Robin, every food is processed if you do XYZ.
Here's what I'm talking about. When I say processed food, should I say highly processed food? I'm talking about food like...
I just say hyperpalatable. I don't know if you want to use that term. That's what I use. Oops. Oh my gosh. I'm such a flop.
That is unrecognizable from its original form. Okay. So I'm talking about the French fries at McDonald's are nowhere near the original regular schmegular potato. Plus all the shit that, I mean, they're fried in terrible oil that has been heated over and over again. And I know
I've worked at a McDonald's. It's awful. It's disgusting. trash. It's this trash that's back behind here. It's horrible. And the fact that I used to see it myself and I still ate it while I was there, I was so in the TR. Like, what the actual F? I'm trying not to cuss as much, but seriously, I don't know what the hell I was thinking.
Some people may be like, Robin, seed oils are fine. Okay, sure. If you don't heat them, I know it's crazy. Canola oil is is the number one choice for high heat cooking in America, and it is unstable when cooked at high heat. And people reuse their fucking canola oil all the time. The fryers are reused at Walmart.
That oil gets black. It's disgusting. And my McDonald's would change it, but it was gross.
McDonald's, that stuff, when heated, can cause inflammation in your body. And I'll put a thingy up for.
And McDonald's is hydrogenated soybean oil. So it comes in, it flows into the fryer like this, and it goes like this, and it's like this gel-like substance that goes into it. So it's not even a natural soybean oil. It's complete trash. It is horrible. It is so horrible. It's horrible. I'm going to say it 20,000 times. It is trash. Absolute trash.
For people to be like, Robin, I need a source. Let's do a source, okay? Your popsicles, your fruit-flavored popsicles, they're not fruits. They're not fruits. They're fruit-flavored. It's literally water, food dye, and then another, like, artificial thing.
Yeah, so where I have some nuance is that could be a sugar-free one too. It might help somebody in a vanity deficit, right? So I understand that. I don't sit here and judge everybody all the time for what they do. I do some diet culture stuff too, but that's also not real food either. So I'm pretty sure RFK would be against that or, MAHA would be against that too. So I can understand the nuances of choices that people make. But I do think it is still a good message because even if you are a diet culture vampire, it is good to consider real food and real nutrition like iron, for example, zinc, for example, which is not in protein powder.
That's processed food. That's what I'm talking about when I say processed food. I'm not talking about when you put something in a can or frozen vegetables. I'm not talking about that. Those are nice, okay? I'm okay with that. Those are preservative methods that we needed, to survive as a country. I'm talking about chips, cookies. I'm talking about frozen pizzas. I'm talking about anything that has more than like 4 ingredients, I guess, right?
Style.
Those are the processed foods I'm talking about. And then on top of that, all the processed food has added sugar in it. Like, why does ketchup have sugar in it? Please tell me.
Don't you ever take my sugar out of my ketchup. Anyways. What I don't want in my ketchup, though, oh my gosh. Here's some more tea. I'm just spilling so much tea in this. I don't even give a fuck. I once had a conversation with Mr. Jordy over the ketchup in America versus in the UK. And he's like, do you see? He's like, do you see how it is? Do you see? He's like, and he poured out the ketchup and it was like actual tomato. It's kind of like a tomato paste. He's like, you see how it's got that blah, blah. I'm not going to try to do an accent, but he was like saying it's got that kind of structure to it. And then he was like, can you show me the ketchup there? And I did. And our ketchup is like, it's like tomato juice. Because he was like, they have it at American Diner. He doesn't sound like that. I can't do a Geordie accent very well. But anyways, he was just telling me that. And by the way, I got him to say American-y because I was saying British-y too much. So he said that. He didn't know TGI Fridays was American. I taught him something that day. No, anyways, but the point is, and he goes, oh yeah. He's like, it is kind of American-y now that I think about it. I'm telling you, my reach is far and wide. It's far and wide. But anyways, the point is, we don't even have tomatoes in our ketchup, which is kind of weird. It's like tomato juice concentrate, which is bizarre. It is bizarre. Like, maybe there could be some fiber in there. Like, why are we doing that? But don't you dare come after my sugar ramen. No, but legit, I have used ketchup sometimes to get a little bit of carb in a meal of like eggs or whatever when I'm just having like diet culture dinner of my eggs, my 6 medium eggs for 300 calories. Sometimes I'm like, I want to do some ketchup because I want some carbage, but it's pretty low cal if you just measure it, which I do. So
know what outcome they wanted from it. It was just pointless. Call me sensitive.
I don't think it was pointless. Look, you're talking about it. They wanted people to talk about this.
True.
And you are talking about it, Jacob.
But I don't think you should be making people who are already struggling feel worse about themselves and then not provide any sort of solution to help.
The solution was go to the fucking website. We're going to go in a second.
I agree.
Especially not when you are the government. You are in charge of public health.
Yeah, and I feel like the government is getting a little, well, no, the government's not doing fucking anything for us, but I mean, if the government, if RFK's MAHA movement,
The government is not going to save you. Like, can we just stop? Can we please stop with that narrative? I'm sorry. I usually don't make stands like that, but it's not going to save you from this. It's not. It's just not. It's gone already. This is the last of us already. It's already, I mean, it's done. Just, they're not going to help with this issue. Just stop. If they're just going to, it's like YouTube listening to Nita. It drives me nuts. It's like our institutions are all messed up by this. It's overrun by zombies. It's not going to change like anytime soon. It's just not. I hope so. I really do. Like, I'm a firefly. I believe, even though Ellie isn't a firefly, but I don't care. We're not going to be canon for the moment. I am a firefly. I am a part of the resistance. I believe that one day the government could possibly help with the TR issue or with obesity or whatever, but we are living here and now. It's not happening. So just don't wait for that, please. For the love of God, do not wait for the government to save you from your obesity. It's not going to happen.
and is in charge of the health of our public. This was a great, like, shake, like a knee jerk, like, hey, fucking
It's a
stop
very,
eating
very,
this shit.
it is a very early first step for the general population to consider eating more real food, which I think is a good message for everybody. I think it's a great message for every single person, even if you mix a little bit of diet culture in there, even if you have a little bit of junk in there. It's better to have real food on the mind. It's a good thing.
Go to this website, okay? Okay, I'm at
Okay, so I'm going to direct you guys over to her video, but we're going to stop filming here because I went on way too long because I'm insane. Because I'm coming after Abby. I'm coming after Abby. I don't care what anyone says. I'm going. Anyways, it's just a joke. It's just a joke, YouTube, I promise. But anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one.